Hello and welcome, my dear students, to class 2 of Elements of Writing from your book Writing for Academics and Professional Success, and we are dealing with Unit 4. Alright, today let's discuss the topic narration in detail. As a quick recap, what is narration? Narration is a rhetorical mode that explains a sequence of thoughts or events. A rhetorical mode as narration has two types, that is fictional and non-fictional mode, or rather fictional or non-fictional narratives. Fictional, non-fictional. Fictional is a made-up story, a cooked-up story. It is created. So naturally, non-fiction is something that is not created. That is, it is real. It is something that happened. It is factual. It is a fact. Now, to understand this better, let's discuss a topic on human-animal relationship. Human-animal bonhomie. That is, H is silent in the word bonhomie. Human-animal bonhomie means human-animal friendship and human-animal conflict. Human-animal friendship can be seen in a story, that is The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. And there's a character, Mowgli, as we all know, very popular. And here we can find Mowgli in bonhomie with the animals, and this is a classic example of humans in close proximity with animals. Now, coming to human-animal conflict, you must have often read in newspapers or newspaper stories, especially with people residing very close to the jungle or who resides in the outskirts of a thick forest. Often animals come down to the residential area and attack the human beings. Often they destroy their plantation crops. We have often read. So the first one about Mowgli and his relationship with the animals is an example of fictional narrative. The second one that I told you about, newspaper story of human-animal conflict, is an example of non-fictional narrative when we discuss the topic of human-animal relationship. So whether our writing be fictional or non-fictional, if it brings out a story, it is a narrative. Let me tell you examples of fictional and non-fictional narratives. Fictional narratives are short stories, novels, folklores, orators. Folklores, traditional story of a particular community, is a folklore. Now, what is orature? Orators are stories that are circulated word of mouth. It is just verbal, not written. You must have heard of stories narrated by your grandmothers, famous stories. It's just word of mouth that you know. If you have not read it in black and white in writing, so that is orature. And non-fictional narrative are examples of non-fictional narratives are biographies, autobiographies, historical accounts, and newspaper reports. Now, what is the difference between biography and autobiography? Biography is the story of the life of a famous person, eminent person, a popular one, and an author writes about the story of a famous personality. That is biography. At the same time, autobiography is like autobiography is that suppose if you are a famous personality and you yourself pen down the story of your life. That is auto, you do by yourself. You're a famous person and you pen down the story of your life, the incidents, you narrate them. So that is autobiography, biography and autobiography. Tara McCarthy has expressed her views on the narratives, that is oral narrative and written narrative. Oral narrative is reading aloud stories, and written narrative is narratives in writing. You should definitely go through it. It's there in your textbook and read it in detail. Let's move on to the general characteristics of a narrative. First one is plot. Plot is the sequential order of events. Second one is setting. Setting is the location and the time. Third one is characters. Characters, that is subject and the people involved in the narrative. There will be a protagonist. Protagonist is a central character, and an antagonist. Antagonist is a villainous character, be it male or female, and one who acts against the protagonist. Next one is conflict. Conflict is a problem in the narration. Next one, resolution, that is the climax of the story or the narration. And the last one is point of view. Point of view is a perspective. What is the perspective? The attitude or the perspective or the views of the author, obviously, or in general. Narrative essay deals with a person's personal experience. So naturally, we employ the first person narrative. But there's nothing wrong in using the third person narrative to bring out the incidents more effectively. So you can use both the first as well as the third person point of view. There's nothing wrong in that. Now, coming to thesis statement. What is a statement? You state something or you claim something, that is a statement. Now, what is a thesis statement? Thesis is an opinion that is discussed in a logical way. And of course, evidences are provided to prove that it is true. And that is a thesis statement. It can be explicit or implicit. Explicit is very clear, explained in detail, and implicit is hidden. It is not that clear. It lacks clarity. So it has an implied meaning, or it is implicit. And that is with thesis statement. Next, you can use transitional phrases when you make a shift in narration. When you shift from one particular topic to another one, which is something different, it is good that you employ transitional phrases to avoid that monotony, to avoid boredom, to be specific. For example, you can use phrases like unfortunately, most probably, under these circumstances, and phrases like that, so on, so forth. You can also use conversational expressions. You can employ a conversational style so that you connect or you have a bonding with the reader. When a reader identifies or relates with the writer or with the writing, the matter or the material becomes more interesting, isn't it? Narrative essay topics. Some of the narrative essay topics are personal experiences, personal relationships, childhood memories, travel experiences, discoveries, inventions, criminal proceedings, case histories, so on. You can refer that in your textbook. As I told you in your previous class, all of you should have your textbooks open when I deal with classes. Hope you have done that. If you haven't done that yet, you should do that. Okay. Now, examples of narrative writing given in your textbook are from Shooting an Elephant by George Orwell and What's in a Name by Henry Louis Gates Jr. It will add to a good reading. Now, another important thing that I want to tell you is you have to open page number 110 of your textbook and see that there are review questions given. Now, the first review question given is discuss the features of narration as a rhetorical mode. Now, the answer to this question is all the details that I've given you as part of the topic narration. You can incorporate all the details and more if you want. So what I've discussed so far constitute the answer of that particular question. Description. Description is again a rhetorical mode. It's a skill in communication, which means that it helps you to communicate effectively. There's a skill in communication. Next, it appeals to the senses. Once I told you, it appeals to the senses means it creates an impression in the reader or the listener. That is, it creates impression through sight, through sound, through smell, through touch and through your taste. So it creates lasting impression. Then it involves a great deal of subjectivity. Subjectivity, that is, it involves the attitude of the describer to a great deal. At times, it is switched to objectivity also. Objectivity gives you an exact picture of something what happened or what a thing really is without a personal evaluation. So subjectivity, objectivity. Subjectivity is purely personal. As I told you, it depends on the attitude of the one who describes. And objectivity is, that is, it is not personal at all. It gives you an exact picture of how a thing is really as it is. That is subjectivity, objectivity. Features of a descriptive essay. Now, like how we saw in narration, a thesis statement is involved in descriptive essay also. That is, a thesis statement, whether it be implicit or explicit, is involved in description. Next, there is a chronology involved in a descriptive essay. What is chronology? Or rather, chronological statements or chronological order. What is that? When there are a number of events that has occurred and when you arrange those events in the order in which they happened, that is chronological order. So that order should be there in a descriptive essay. Next is sensory details. Sensory details is used in a descriptive essay or in a description that appeals, which we saw earlier, that appeals to the sight, to the sound, smell, taste and touch. And why is this used? For the reader to visualize the description or to get a mental picture of the description. And then active verbs are used. Active verbs, I hope you know what are active voice and passive voice. Now to brush your memory, let me tell you a few examples. Gopal repaired the computer is active. The computer was repaired by Gopal is passive. She ate 6 rotis is active. 6 rotis were eaten by her is passive. So here you have to use the first examples, the kind of first examples as I gave you. That is, active verbs should be used in a descriptive essay. Sample topics for descriptive essay. Some of the sample topics given in your textbook are lab experiments, appearance of a person, animal, object, a crime scene, a design of a building or construction. All these are sample topics. Now there are certain descriptive essay examples. There are certain examples on descriptive essay given in your textbook, and those are excerpts from Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness and Gurcharan Das's India Unbound, From Independence to Global Information Age. Now, another thing that I would like to tell you is that again you have to go to page number 110 and there's a question on the description, that is, write a paragraph describing a place familiar to you, and that answer is supposed to be subjective. It is not an objective answer, it is subjective. That is, the answer for the question differs from student to student, which means that you have to write that answer all by yourself. So attempt, do attempt. Fine. Let's move on to illustrations. Illustrations is a rhetorical mode and it explains with examples. Examples make a concept clear. It gives you a clear picture of the whole concept or idea. Now, some of the examples that can be used are photographs, graphs, charts, and also statistical data. Suppose you're writing an assignment or an essay on the problems a city faces in solid waste management or solid waste disposal. If you support it with a photograph on piling up of waste in the streets, it definitely gives you a clear picture of the whole thing. It supports it. Otherwise, if you're writing an assignment on the demography of a particular region, you can provide graphs, charts, and statistical data. What is demography? Demography is a study of a particular region, of a particular area, and the changes in that particular population over a period of time. For example, the number of births, the number of deaths, diseases that has affected the community, the population in that area, all that constitutes the demography of a particular region. Features of illustrative essay. Now we are discussing the features of illustrative essay. Illustrative essay is also referred to as exemplification because we always use examples. We support with examples. We exemplify things, so it's called exemplification. Now, when you make a statement, you should always give an example too. For instance, you make a statement about a report on the ragging cases in a particular college. What you do is that you give an example too. Final year students barged into a first year class and demanded money. So that's the example that you're giving to support your statement. Next, an illustrative essay requires a thesis. Earlier we have discussed what is a thesis. Thesis is an opinion discussed in a logical way and it is supported with evidence too. And again, you have to take into account the audience when you're writing an illustrative essay. The audience or the readers must be able to connect or to relate or to identify with the examples that you're giving. And as I told you, you should always consider the audience, the kind of audience who is making a reading, who is making a perusal of your essay. Last, you have to use transition phrases also. Once we have discussed transition phrases to avoid boredom, to avoid monotony when you make a shift from one topic to the other. Like specifically, for instance, all these are transition phrases that you can use. Sample topics for illustrative writing. Some of the topics of illustrative writing are binge eating, how to manage college and part-time jobs, and techniques of de-addiction. What is binge eating? Binge eating is when you overeat, when you consume a large amount of food, especially high-calorie food, junk food, when you're having a celebration or when you unwind with a party. All that is binge eating, especially when you consume a large amount of food. Anything in a large amount is binge. Now, some of the examples of illustrative writing provided in your textbook are excerpts from Nancy Brosseau's essay on anorexia nervosa and Henry Louis Gates' Men Behaving Badly. You should definitely read through it. Now, what is anorexia nervosa? It is an eating disorder characterized by fear of being overweight. It can be applied to generally all the people, but especially with some ladies who wants to have a figure of size 0. What they do is they don't eat enough, they don't eat properly because they have a fear of being overweight, and that is anorexia nervosa, which is an eating disorder. Page number 110 of your textbook, Writing for Academics and Professional Success, there are review questions given, and the third one goes like this. How are examples given in an illustrative essay explained? So, as I've told you, you can cite examples of the problem of solid waste management in the city. You can provide examples, support with a photograph. You can do that. And another example that I gave you about demography, you can support it with graphs, charts, and statistical data. So that way you can cite examples. Now, depending upon the marks allotted for that particular question, you can provide more examples if you want. Argumentation. An argumentative essay consists of debatable statements. Argumentative essay is also called persuasive essay, as we have seen earlier, because it persuades the readers to think in the way the writer wants them to think. That's why it's called persuasive essay. Now, here in an argumentative essay, the writer takes a position, a standpoint. He takes a side. So all of us have opinions, and a position is an opinion. For instance, there is a political spat or a political argument between two political leaders, and you support just one of the leader. So that is your opinion. You have a position. You have a standpoint there. You side with that political leader. So any opinion that has a valid reason is an argument. Any rational piece of discourse is an argument. Now, an argument may be on books, movies, sports, academics, and non-academic issues. Words often used in an argumentative essay are assertions, propositions, premises, and conclusion. Now, assertions, propositions, and premises simply means statements. These are other synonyms for statements. Now, conclusion, you conclude something means you end something or you finish something. Here it means a judgment. A judgment you have reached after discussing, many possibilities based on logical reasoning. So that is a conclusion. Now, an argumentative essay is, an argumentative essay consists of debatable statements. These debatable statements are classified into premises and conclusion. Premises, statement, conclusion, judgment. Now the premises leads to conclusion. That is, premises can have more than one supporting statements. It can have multiple opinions. That is, opinions of others, quotes, and reports from authentic agencies. What is authentic? Authentic is something true or a verified agency. Now, a conclusion is a thesis statement. A conclusion leads to a thesis statement, and this thesis statement can be found in the introductory paragraph of an argumentative essay. What is thesis statement? As we have seen earlier, it is a statement based on logical reasoning and evidences provided. Features of an argumentative essay. An author's claim is just one approach to the argument. Another person is likely to have a different approach. That is, he can have an opposite claim, and that is acceptable. It is not wrong. An argument has to be logical, convincing, and clear for it to be acceptable to the readers. It should be convincing. It should be believable for the readers to accept all this. A claim or a statement by an author or writer is not a final word. Another writer can always refute this particular writer's statement or claim. What is refuting? Refuting means to prove that something else is wrong, or something is wrong, or something is false. A poem, a novel, or a drama can be interpreted by 5 different people in 5 different ways. There can be different interpretations. And argumentative essay is always democratic. Democratic is providing or insisting on equality for all. That is, a democracy. In a democracy, you have a voice, you have a say. So in an argumentative essay, you are democratic, or it is democratic means that it does not impose a singular perspective. It accepts everything, each and every opinion that comes its way. Sample topics for argumentative essay. Social skills in the digital age. Should tobacco products be completely banned? Should death penalty be abolished? Is freedom of speech hate speech? All these has debatable statements and topics. You should think about it. You should research on it. And some of the examples on argumentative writing given in your textual material is, one of them is Marine Parks by Bill Daly. That is, should we encourage marine parks and dolphin parks kept open around us? Another one is Casablanca, Cult Movies and Intertextual Clash by Umberto Eco. What is a cult movie? What is cult? A cult or a cult movie is something that has an interest or that is popular among a section or among a group of people. It does not has a general acceptability. That is cult. Whatever is cult does not have a general acceptability. It is popular only among a section of people, and that is cult. Or a movie that is acceptable only among a certain group of people is a cult movie. And here we come to the end of the video on elements of writing. Thank you and bye for now.